Hi, Hugh Taylor here, coming at you with some insider secrets how to reach reporters in the digital age. So just briefly, we're going to talk about how media and PR are changing, about the digital age we're in, and how old rules of public relations are falling away. And I'm going to share a technique, a secret insider technique I call the 1-2-3 technique: one hook, two story ideas, 3 points of connection. So stay tuned. First of all, the times they are a changing. If you get that reference, you're already out of date. That's known as irony. This is thanks to Bob Dylan, one of the great performers. If you get that, you're probably too old to be doing this like me. Anyway, media and PR are changing in the sense that reporting is digital, publications are digital, the audience is online. If you want an example of that, unfortunately, Sports Illustrated magazine, one of the biggest and most successful magazines ever, is basically going out of business as of today. They laid off almost their entire staff because magazines no longer work as a business model. That can tell you a lot about what's happening in media. If you want to be in the media, you have to keep up with what's going on. The old rules are falling away. Relationships between PR firms and reporters are no longer paramount. Now, of course, they still exist. It's still very important in a lot of cases. But the idea that you have to have a PR firm that has relationships with reporters and editors and producers is no longer a requirement. In fact, you can do some of this yourself. That's new also. The modes of communication are increasingly digital. Used to have to reach reporters by phone or take them out to lunch. Now it's almost all done by email. But with this comes some new realities. This is reality. PR has become a little bit like email marketing. You have about 2 seconds, and I'm being generous, to get a reporter's attention. I'd say maybe half a second. The amount of time it takes them to read an email subject line in a string of emails on their phone, if you can't get their attention in that split second, you have lost them. You will never hear back from them. If they open the email, you have about 30 seconds, and again, I'm being very generous, about 30 seconds of their time if they read your message. What that means, you better have something interesting to say. Okay? So I'm going to share with you my secret sauce. Now, one of the reasons that I call this insider tips is I am a public relations professional, so I'm an insider there, but I'm also a reporter. This is something that people don't know about me. I publish a blog on cybersecurity. I'm not like a big-time journalist, but I am treated as like a reporter by many PR firms. So I get pitches as a reporter and I make pitches as a PR person. So I can give you both sides of this story. I can tell you what it's like to get bombarded with pitches all day long from PR firms. I've learned a lot about what stands out and what doesn't. And I've also seen, to be honest with you, some pretty poor work by my colleagues in the PR firm, expecting me to pay attention to stuff that I really don't want to pay attention to because it's not interesting to me. Okay? So when I say the one in the 1-2-3, one hook, you have one hook to catch the reporter's attention, like this guy here is going to catch a fish with that hook. That's interesting. He's got 3 hooks, but it's really one fish hook. He's probably planning to catch one fish at a time. What's the most attention-getting idea that you have? Okay, that's what you kind of lead with. Can you express it in 55 characters, which is a good length for an email subject line, meaning it can be read in entirety on an iPhone email preview screen. Okay, in all seriousness, that's what you're dealing with. And I'm going to share an example. This is a little bit wordy for a video, but I just want to show you, this is an example, something that I was working on recently that went well in terms of pitching. This was an interesting company, a financial company. They created a carbon credit token that will drive sustainability efforts in the Congo Basin. The goal is to take a proactive stance offsetting damage done to sub-Saharan Africa by invasive mining from corporations and individuals. Okay, that's very interesting, but that is way too much information for a hook. So this boiled down to 2 email subject lines. And I'm going to break my own rule, this is something which I think is important to understand. Like, we have these rules, sometimes you got to break them. We actually ended up with a 79-character subject line, which was new carbon credit token aims to preserve the Congo Basin as a vital carbon sink. Okay, now, so that's a little bit long, But if you look at it carefully, the first 55 characters are basically this. New carbon credit token aims to preserve the Congo Basin. That's enough to catch somebody's attention. Here's a 57-character version of it. Some things you just cannot shrink to 55 characters. I'm trying to give you a sense. 55 characters is the ideal, right? Like there's certain things that are ideal. Maybe you can't always get there. But here's new carbon credit token preserves Congo Basin carbon sink. You're getting the reporter's attention. I will tell you, this worked. We got attention with this. Okay, we got requests for interviews. We got interest from reporters because it captured their areas of interest. The other side of this, you have to target reporters who cover these areas of interest. Secret sauce number 2, 2 story ideas. This is my suggestion. Don't just have one thing to say, have at least 2 things to say. So you, for example, you might have a story about your business or your book or your movie, whatever kind of you're interested in presenting, but then maybe also offer a story about yourself, like you, your journey, your insights into reality. Give the reporter some options. For example, here's an example of something else we did that was successful. There was a bookstore founded by a local author. So story 1 was, here's a bookstore, we're having grand opening. 2 is, it's a local author, right? So it's 2 different stories, because sometimes reporters have different things they may want to do, different things they want to report on. Give them some options. Or, for example, carbon tokens or the damage done to sub-Saharan Africa. It's really 2 parts of the same story, but a reporter in the financial sector might be writing about financial business tokens, business versus a reporter writing about sustainability, which is like damage to sub-Saharan Africa. So give 2 options. Number 3 in the 1, 2, 3 of the secret sauce is 3 points of connection. This is a suggestion. Offer the reporter different ways of interacting with you. Maybe there's an interview. Maybe you can offer expert commentary by email. Maybe you can have an in-person visit or an event, right? Sometimes reporters like to meet you in person. So offer options, okay? Now, the implicit thing here is targeting. You're hopefully, this is the kind of, to make this secret sauce work, you have to be talking to the right people. You can't be offering a review of a television show to a financial reporter. They're not going to be interested. You can't be offering a story about a local business in Philadelphia to a reporter in Los Angeles. And that may sound obvious, but you'd be surprised how often people do this wrong, including me. I will confess, I've made this mistake myself. Targeting is always a little tricky, but if you have the right resources, like I have a very big journalist database I work with, you can find people in the right categories for you. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. If you like what you're hearing, I'm going to do my shameless self-promotion now. We have a free ebook called Stop Being Invisible. It's available at the link below, as is a special offer for press release writing and distribution. And if you want to meet with me, there's a link below. You can set a time to talk to me about this. I'm happy to hear what you're trying to do and how I can help. If you're interested in working with us or want to talk to us more, please visit us at commsfactory.net, and the link is in the description below as well. Thanks for listening.